You mentioned the rising motion on the fastball, and I'm picturing an at-bat that he had against one of the Baltimore righties. I can't remember who it was, but there was a pitch that he threw, I believe, for strike three, and whoever it was swung through it, but it did have that rising motion, and it went toward the upper outside corner of the strike zone, and it was just so nasty.
Because now you're lining a ball up that's coming in a certain direction, and that ball moves just a centimeter up, down, to the side. That's going to kill. I mean, that's what causes ground balls. That's what causes weak contact.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm one of your hosts, Stacey Gotsulias. Game off. We got to talk more about Monopoly Go. This fast-paced game lets you team up with friends for tournaments to unlock awesome prizes like unique stickers for trading, cool playing pieces, and hilarious emojis for taunting your friends. So download Monopoly Go, now free on Google Play or the App Store. Game on. And with me, as usual, is my co-host, Brian McKeon. Brian, good game.
Stacey, as good as it can get, right? You drew it up perfectly.
Yeah.
The first time Stacey Stradamus was wrong.
Yeah. Well, hey, they scored 2. I mean, that's better than nothing.
Better than 0, literally.
Yeah. Because, I mean, Corbin Burnes is a good pitcher. We'll get into it in segment 1. Before we get into everything, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. There are new ones popping up daily. And subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Please subscribe, because I was looking at the analytics and I noticed that more of our views are from unsubscribed people. So click that damn button. Just kidding. I don't feel like threatening people. I don't like threatening people too much, but do that. Do us a solid, because we're almost at 6,200. That's a nice round number. So do it. And also hit the bell so you're notified when our videos go live. So coming up on today's show, we preview the final game against the Orioles, another 4-game series. These 4-game series are too much for me. The 1990 Yankees are getting a documentary, and I am holding a history lesson for Brian, who wasn't around in 1990. And I also love referring to that particular squad when people complain about the modern day Yankees for good reason. But first, hallelujah. 1, the Yankees aren't shut out. And 2, they actually shut out the other team.
Yeah, second shutout of the year, I believe, for the Yankees. Played really well, pitched really well. Luis Gil, that the fastball that we were concerned about, the Orioles being the 3rd best fastball hitting team in baseball, didn't seem to look like that today. Those numbers certainly went down after today. He looked unbelievable. He really, I loved the, I guess for lack of a better word, obsession with the fastball that he had today. Like he went into the game with a lot of confidence. He knew that the fastball was a great pitch. He went into it with almost a Roger Clemens 90s attitude of like, hit it. Go ahead. I dare you. Hit it.
Yeah.
Or I guess the better way to put it is Mariano. Here's my cutter. This is the only pitch I'm going to throw. Hit it. I dare you. And that's what he said. And those are the pitchers with that level of confidence that have the most success. And he showed that today. I mean, he showed, here's my fastball. Come and hit it against the 3rd best fastball hitting team in baseball. And they couldn't hit it.
Yep. Unbelievable. He threw that 4-seamer 59 times. It generated a lot of weak contact. So
a lot of it.
That was really, really good. He also threw 23 changeups, 13 sliders, 95 pitches in total, 6 1/3 innings, obviously no runs, 2 hits, a walk, 5 strikeouts. And, when we do our rundown, sometimes with pitchers, I'm just opening the curtain for the viewers. Good, please. Bad, needs improvement. So good, everything. Bad, nothing. He was great. And as you said, we were worried about their ability to hit fastballs, and it really was like he was taunting them. I loved it. I loved seeing that confidence from him on the mound. It was just so much fun to watch.
I love the level of bravado that when athletes show that. It's the same analogy as an NFL team, going into a game knowing they're good at running the ball and going up against the top running defense and then still running the ball. Like, go ahead, stop it. We dare you. And no one could hit his fastball tonight against a really good fastball hitting team. His fastball is starting to become one of the more elite pitches in all of baseball. It truly is. It's got like a weird rising motion to it.
Yes.
That not a lot of guys pick up on very easily. It really is becoming one of the more elite pitches in baseball. I'm really hoping once Garrett Cole is available to come back that he's not the odd man out. because it felt like coming into the season that Luis Gil would become the odd man out once Cole is back. I think he's starting to pitch himself into not being that guy.
Right.
And maybe he becomes a bullpen piece. I still think that's up for debate. But overall, I don't know how you can't look at the way Luis Gil's pitched this year so far and think he's not an excellent number 4, number 5 starter. I don't.
Right. You mentioned the rising motion on the fastball, and I'm picturing an at-bat that he had against one of the Baltimore righties. I can't remember who it was, but there was a pitch that he threw, I believe, for strike 3, and whoever it was swung through it, but it did have that rising motion, and it went toward the upper outside corner of the strike zone, and it was just so nasty. And
well, it's like you can't track it, right? It's like you're not ready for where it's coming from, and and even when guys make contact with that, that's where the weak contact comes from, right? Because now you're lining a ball up that's coming in a certain direction, and that ball moves just a centimeter up, down, to the side. That's gonna kill. I mean, that's what causes ground balls. That's what causes weak contact. Yeah. And I mean, he had all of it tonight. There's only one real thing about this game that annoyed me, and it's not fair to say it annoys me, but it annoys me, it annoys you, and I think you know where I'm going here, right?
Not sure.
Why in the world was Clay Holmes allowed to throw a second inning today? But last Friday, they couldn't have managed that. Last Friday, after throwing 10 pitches in the ninth, no way he can go off for the 10th and win us the game. Now, this Friday, what is today? Tuesday, Wednesday? I don't know.
Wednesday.
Now he's able to go out there for the second inning. Can please, for the life of me, can you explain this, Stacey?
Maybe Boone learned from his mistake on
There's
Friday.
No way. He's been doing this crap. He's been doing this crap for years. Like, there's no way now he learned his. There's no way.
No.
There's no. I mean, I'm sure Aaron Boone is a really big Locked On Yankees fan, but there's no way that he was listening to our show and like, you know what, that is a really good idea. I'm going to start changing my ways. That didn't happen. So again, that's going to be my question to the fan base today on this episode. Please, can someone explain to me the rationale that might have been going through Aaron Boone's head? Even if you don't do yes, no, maybe so, have the answer. Can you please someone try and explain to me the rationale that could have been going through his head to not let Clay Holmes give you a second inning last week, but give you a second inning this week? Is the Baltimore game a more important game because it's a division rival? Is that the reason that you're going to want to go with? I don't know. To me, I can't come up with. He threw 10 pitches in the first inning of last Friday's game. Mm-hmm. I don't know what he threw in the first inning of this game. I didn't recall, but it was a quick inning. I know, but 10 pitches is a quick inning. I'm searching, guys. I'm searching. I'm reaching. I'm grasping for straws of what the reason possibly could have been, and I just can't figure it out.
Yeah. It was. I don't know. I don't know. And one of my notes in our rundown, because I went through the pitching, so you kind of skipped ahead, but that's fine.
I'm sorry.
It said again, comma, all in caps. Why didn't he pitch that second inning on Friday with an exclamation point and a question mark? Because why?
I can't. I wish I had an answer. And I don't. That's what annoys me though, is like, I can live with finding a reason for whether Aaron Boone is the manager or isn't the manager for a championship team. That debate, unfortunately, is still out there. Mm-hmm. But I can live with the answer if Aaron Boone's a consistent guy, right? Because if he consistently does the same thing and they win, he's the manager. If he consistently does the same thing and they lose, not the guy.
Right.
When he consistently does completely different things night to night, I don't know what the heck to think. I don't. Because again, I don't know what to think in it. Because what if this happens in the postseason? What if it gets to a postseason game and in game 3, Holmes isn't going to go 2 innings, but game 5 he is? What makes one game more important than the other? You know, it's just, that's what confuses me about this, is there's no consistency with how he calls games and how he's at. I know managers notoriously are supposed to be thinking like, 2 or 3 batters ahead of where they are in the game, but man, it just seems like last Friday that was on the script, and tonight the script said if you need Holmes for 2 innings, you can use him. And baseball was the sort that you can't script baseball.
So the rest of the bullpen, Caleb Ferguson had a good outing. He's looking stronger. He looks like he's getting better. Mm-hmm. And plus, these guys holding Baltimore scoreless and shutting them out. This is their first time that Baltimore's been shut out all season. So
yeah,
big game for Caleb Ferguson. Ian Hamilton, not such a great outing. Had to be taken out with 2 on and 1 out. but thank goodness he got that one out because Clay Holmes came in, saved his butt in that inning, got those last 2 outs, and then comes into the 9th. Man, some of those pitches, the movement on his pitches are absolutely insane. I love watching it. So Yankees win 2-0. The only offense is Oswaldo with his big 2-run shot to give the Yankees the lead, and it wedged into the foul pole. It was a whole to-do, but thank God for Oswaldo, because otherwise...
I've been a proponent all year too of not knowing if Clay Holmes is the guy in a big spot in a playoff game. He's proving himself more and more than he might be. I still think there's going to be a bullpen piece added at some point at the deadline,
Sure.
but
I think
he has looked unbelievable. And did anyone remember that there's a birdie out there that's looking for a playing spot? Because it looks like Oswaldo is just Wally pipping him before he even played more than 5 innings for the Yankees.
Yeah. Unbelievable. So yeah, Holmes hasn't given up a run yet, which is amazing. So Baltimore is 19-11. The Yankees are 20-12. So they're tied atop the AL East because of that. And 20 wins on May 1st without Garrett Cole and honestly without Aaron Judge, because Aaron Judge is not doing anything.
No.
And they'll be going for the split tomorrow. We'll talk about the pitching matchup in segment 3. So good game. Tight game, and the type of game that you expect against Baltimore, because they have good pitching. I mean, 2-0 win in a Corbin Burns start. I will take that every day and twice on Sunday.
You better learn how to play in these games. That's all I'm going to say. You better learn how to be comfortable playing in these spots, because there's going to be a lot of them coming up.
Yep. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notification so you know when our videos go up. Also reply to the pinned comment on our videos from Monday through Thursday if you want your questions answered for Fan Mail Friday, or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. There's a link in the description. You'll find out all the perks when you sign up. It's really fun. And there's a 14-day free trial. So coming up, a new Yankees documentary is coming out in a couple of weeks, and I'm giving you guys a history lesson.
It's winner take all time in the NBA and NHL, and FanDuel's giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and more. The bet that I like later on tonight, a crucial Game 6 up in Canada, Toronto Maple Leafs against the Boston Bruins. They're currently at even money, surprisingly enough, but Maple Leafs aren't going to have Austin Matthews, and that's going to be a huge, huge loss for them. It worked out in Game 5. I don't know how many consistent games they're going to be able to win without Matthews. So I think it's a problem, and I think Boston closes it out in Toronto, a place that the Maple Leafs have not been that good this year. Visit FanDuel.com/locked-on and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
And Locked On Yankees is also sponsored by Monopoly Go, my new favorite game that I am obsessed with. It is so much fun playing this game. I can't even explain it. So it's basically Monopoly, but on your phone. So it's the same classic Monopoly, but there's all these new perks, and you win boards, and you destroy other people's landmarks. You steal money from them. The bank heists are my favorite thing in the world, because I like stealing money from people and then completing my boards, because that's what you do. And you can play it on your phone anytime, and you can actually play with your friends. You can look at the leaderboard and compare your scores with your friends, and you can also steal money from them and charge them rent on your properties. And you can work with your friends, if you don't want to be so adversary, on community chests, and you can crack them open and win money that way. So download Monopoly Go, now free, in the App Store or on Google Play. I swear you will have the most fun playing this game. Welcome back to Locked On Yankees. Locked On Sports Today is a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming of other networks. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Don't forget, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. Now, before we get into this, speaking of people who scream on TV, Stephen A. Smith said something not so great about Mike Trout. He said something along the lines of, "It's disgusting that he can't stay on the field." I was like, that's a strong word.
Yeah, phrased wrong, but as a baseball fan, I do get where he's coming from. Just
Yeah.
phrased in an absolutely horrifying way.
Yeah.
But I get it, because from my perspective, every time I see a notification that Mike Trout's hurt, I get the same pit in my stomach. Like, oh my, I just want to watch this guy play baseball.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I want to do. Like, I
Mhm.
want to see him get to 3,000 hits and 500 home runs. And every time he gets hurt, I'm not sure if he's going to get there. Like, he should, but it's
Yeah.
just, oh.
I saw something on Twitter. Someone said he hasn't had a fully healthy season since 2016. And I thought, holy cow, that's a long time.
Yeah, and then you wonder why the Angels haven't been good or haven't been able to, gain any traction getting to the postseason, because he's never on the field. Let's see, Mike Trout. How old is Mike Trout right now? Does anyone even know? Mike Trout right now is, of course, his age isn't on here, but I'm gonna go to Baseball Reference. There you go. He's 32 years old.
I was gonna say, I think he's 32.
He's got 378 home runs and he's got 1,648 hits. Is he gonna get there? Probably not.
No.
Like, think about it. He's probably not going to get to 3,000 hits. I don't think there's a chance he gets 3,000 hits. That's 1,350 hits in the aging part of his career, and 150 more home runs for a guy who's not really much of a home run hitter. That stinks. Like, flat out, that stinks.
Yep. You know what else stinks or
What's
stunk?
That?
The 1990 Yankees. The 1990 Yankees.
I need to take me to history class today.
Yeah, so you're gonna get it. So the 1990 Yankees are getting a documentary, which I'm so happy about. As I said at the top, every time younger people complain about the Yankees of 2013, 2014, 2016, 2023, I always say, you should have been around in 1990 like I was. So now all the youngins are going to have the chance to really witness the insanity of that season in a 3-part documentary that's going to drop. That's what the kids say, right? On May 16th on Peacock. I am so happy about this. I wrote an article about this, actually, about the 1990s team, about the 1990 team. And I also did a 1990 Yankees episode back in 2020 when COVID happened and there were no games being played. And we did milestone years for the Yankees, and I focused on 1990. I did an entire episode about it. This team was not only terrible, but the off the field stuff was legendarily terrible. Just, the year that Steinbrenner was suspended, he got caught giving the money to the guy to get information on Winfield, and Bucky Dent and Stump Merrill both managing the team, and neither of them could do anything with the team because they were just so bad. A pitcher throws a no-hitter, they still lose 4-0 because his defense can't play behind.
That's impressive.
Andy Hawkins.
That's impressive.
Andy Hawkins 4-0 against the Chicago White Sox. Just absolutely terrible. The man pitches a no-hitter and he loses the game.
I kind of like that. That's a nerdy baseball stat that I really kind of like.
Yep. Deion Sanders, his time on the team. They talk about Pascal Perez and his shoulder. That's a whole Steinbrenner story for the books. This guy didn't show up to spring training. He was in the DR. They go to get him, and then Steinbrenner makes him throw a bullpen session in front of the press with pitching coach Billy Connors there, and the presser, he called the press back. He's like, you're going to watch this guy pitch. It was 7:00 at night. Okay. And then he injured his shoulder and he was out the rest of the season, only a few games in. The team finished 67-95. So I don't want to hear anyone ever complain. Okay. Oh, 2023 was the worst Yankee season ever. No, it was not.
Yeah.
Not by any stretch of the imagination was it the worst. Of the last 20 years? Yes. Of the last 25 years? Yes, but no. Not the worst in history. They were shut out by an opponent 15 times, which is kind of scary when you think of the 2024 Yankees being shut out 5 times already. They were 12-7 a month into the season, and it only got worse from there.
Yeah,
Roberto
that's
Kelly,
not that crazy compared to what we see now.
Right.
The Marlins and White Sox.
Right. Roberto Kelly led the team in WAR at 5.5 WAR.
Okay.
Don Mattingly played in 102 games. It was his worst season statistically. He only had 5 home runs, 42 runs driven in, and his slash line was the worst of his career. He actually improved in the years after, even with the bad back.
You know what's funny? Can I just mention 256 for his batting average is actually...
Oh, that'd be great now.
No, that's what I'm thinking of. Like the amount of Giancarlo Stanton hit 197. Like I'd sign for, if Giancarlo wants to hit 256 this year, I'd sign on a dotted line right now.
No, because anytime Mattingly was like below 300, people were like, the hell's the matter with Don Mattingly? So 256 was bad back then. That's how different baseball was.
Yeah.
Tim Leary led the team in innings, throwing 208 of them. He had a 4.11 ERA, and he finished 9-19.
I love 208 innings.
Yeah, well, yeah, right. None of the Yankee starters had a record over 500, and the closest to 500 was Mike Witt, who finished 5-6, but he only made 16 starts. The rest of them, Chuck Carey, Dave LaPointe, and Andy Hawkins, all had more than 25 starts, and they all had single-digit wins and double-digit losses. And miraculously, Dave Righetti ended up with 36 saves in that season. So
I don't know if that's a good thing. They won 67 games, but he had 36 saves. That means 36 of those games were close.
It means that, yeah,
they were within 3 runs. So like they easily could have lost 100 games. Easily.
Right. Easily. Some other notable names from that otherwise awful pitching staff: Mark Leiter, Senior, right? Lance McCullers, Senior.
Wow. Okay. The juniors dominated the Yankees.
Yes. So it was just, like I said, on the field, absolutely awful. I will say the one good thing was they walked off against, I think it was Milwaukee, on my 16th birthday in 1990. So at least.
Okay.
And I watched it too, because my Sweet 16 was the day before. We had it on a Saturday, and then my birthday was a Sunday, and I was relaxing from my Sweet 16, and I watched the game with my dad, and they walked off for me because the Yankees historically are bad on my birthday for some reason. They actually lost on the night I was born. But in 1990, that bad, awful, that terrible, horrible, no good, very bad team actually walked off.
Is this the worst team you've ever seen? Yankees was?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They were definitely the worst.
Really?
Mm-hmm. They were that bad. Yep. There was no team this bad in the 80s. They got a little better, 91, a little better in 92, and then they started. Off. Yep. The best thing to ever happen, though, them catching Steinbrenner, paying that guy, what was his name? Spira, to get information on Winfield, because if Steinbrenner was never suspended, the Yankees dynasty would never have happened.
Yeah.
So as bad as 1990 was, as bad as the team was, it was actually the best because of what it led to later in the decade.
I hear that. That makes sense. Jeez, what a horrendous year, though.
Yeah, so that's your history lesson, everyone. The 1990 Yankees, you get to watch that again. It's Peacock, May 16th, 3-part documentary. It's based on the series that I think Joel Sherman did in the Post during the COVID year for the anniversary of 1990, and they turned it into a documentary. So a bunch of people are going to be talking on it. I know they got Buck Showalter, Bernie Williams is talking. They have a lot of local people talking about it and people who covered it. You know, because 1990 was that the first year that Kay did, or was that the year before? I think he may have still been a newspaper guy at that point, but he was covering that team. So it'll be an interesting watch.
I'm excited. I certainly am.
Yep. All right. Coming up next in segment 3, we're previewing the last game of this pivotal series with the Baltimore Orioles. It's not pivotal yet, but it's important, don't you think?
Yep.
I think so too. So we're going to talk about it next.
Baseball season is already a month old, so don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in your prize pick entries. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs, take your pick of more or less and add them to your prize picks entry today. Get on the playoff action and win up to 100 times your money on prize picks as you and the world's best players take the game to the new level during basketball's postseason. Prize Pick has something for every sports fan, from baseball and basketball to League of Legends and everything in between. You can pick Jalen Brunson, Shohei Ohtani, Connor McDavid, Artemi Panarin, and Jude Bellingham all in the same entry. PrizePicks is the best way to get on action on sports in more than 30 states across the country, including California, Texas, and Georgia. Testing my skills on PrizePicks this baseball season is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $100 with just a few taps. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make PrizePicks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Download the app today and make code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match of up to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB, one word, for a $100 first deposit match. Locked On has launched its first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV in the free Fire TV Channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On Plus, our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now available on the free Fire TV's app. And also, remember that you can catch every pitch of Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. All you got to do is download that SXM app and search the word Yankees. Stacey, thank you for that dubious history lesson. I enjoyed it. Game 4, 1:05. It's an afternoon game tomorrow, well, later today, which is interesting. Afternoon baseball on a Thursday. And it's not really a getaway day because they come home to New York later that day. It's not like it's a, well,
it's probably I would think it's a getaway day for Baltimore then, right?
Yeah, it's Baltimore going like to LA or something, because it's weird. You don't usually see day games on a Thursday scheduled. I'm going to check the schedule right now because that is a weird. You don't find that a little strange? No, Baltimore's going to Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's not that far.
Yeah, it's a weird spot for a 1:00 game. Anyways, I'm sure Rodon's going to sweat through those New Jerseys pretty good in a 1:00 steamy day on the Bay. Kenny built in that previous start. He's 2-1 with a 2.48 this year. He goes up against Cole Irvin, who's 2-1 with a 3.49. What are you looking for out of Rodon?
I'm just looking for him to build on his previous starts. I'm interested to see if he sticks with the fastball slider combo that he did in his last start, because it did really well. That combo had his best start of the year. And I wonder if watching what Gil did with the Orioles with the fastball will inspire him to do the same.
He's got a great fastball. He always has, Rodon. And he's really used it to get ahead in counts. Like, that is kind of one of the things that he's known for. Now, he's got more reputation of being better than Gil and being more of like an elite guy in the league, mainly because his slider is also his like secondary pitch, which is really a one pitch also. So it kind of works 2 and 2 with how good his slider and fastball are. Right. But Rodon, I think Gil's a guy interesting. It's an interesting point you bring up too. That Gil's a pitcher that can learn a lot from Rodon, because Rodon is a guy that really has made a career out of being a 2-pitch guy, and he only has 3 pitches, and he really doesn't use his changeup that much, even though it's really good. I think Gil could learn a lot from watching Carlos Rodon pitch. I think it's a big matchup. I think getting a tie in this series after losing the first 2 games, there's a momentum builder in that. There is something good to be said about doing that, especially with them going into, they have a really tough homestand coming up. They have Tampa this weekend. They have Detroit this weekend, who is way better than you realize. If Yankee fans aren't, if you don't follow much of the league outside of New York, check on what Detroit's done. They're 18-13 this year. They've been really good coming into this year. Then they get Houston at home for, I believe, three games, and then I think they get Tampa. So not an easy stretch coming up for the Yankees either. I think if they can split this series against Baltimore, that's a really, really good sign, especially after how the first 2 games went.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If you're going to split, it's better to do it that way, because then you have the momentum coming out and the good feeling of, hey, we won the last 2. Woohoo! Because
let it be mentioned too, beating Corbin Burns. Yeah. Like you're going back to the hotel today feeling good, because you didn't just beat the Orioles, you beat their ace. Like, that's a game.
Their ace with your
with your 5.
5 with your 5.
And this is a spot where if you're the Yankees coming home, you feel good about this kind of game. About this. This is a game that the Orioles penciled in as a win, right? We kind of did too. Well, this series started, and if you go back to our preview episode, we both sat here and said, that'll probably be the loss. But that's going to be the tough game. And this is the game they won. So
Yeah.
You got to give it to them tonight, and you got to keep these things rolling because losing 3 out of 4 feels so different than a split. So different.
Oh yeah, definitely. And hopefully, I mean, I've been saying it all series, but hopefully the offense can do something.
It needs to. It needs to. Because, again, you're going into some tough matchups coming up at home. And I know they've hit a little better at home this year, but got to pick it up. Because some of the at-bats that you see, Gleyber, I almost too, and I don't like beating this guy because I feel like if I say it out loud, Boone's going to take it to the nth degree. But I do mean this. Like, give Gleyber a rest day.
I said that about Judge.
Tomorrow, I would sit Gleyber and Judge tomorrow. Or later today. I really would. It's a 1:00 game. It's a getaway day. Let them get the rest and let it move on to the next series. That's just at least the way I look at it.
I think they should wait. I don't think they should do it at the same time. I think they need to wait for Verdugo to come back.
Well, he's going to be in the lineup tomorrow.
He's
going to be in the lineup. But he's going to be in the lineup. They said during the broadcast today that he was on a plane headed back to Baltimore. So he is, I mean, everything accounts for he'll be in the lineup for the 1:00 game, which to me is let Grisham play in center, put Verdugo in left, and just I'm not saying don't use Judge in a pinch hit opportunity. I'm not saying don't do something. Actually, that could be a source of a leap off for him. Yeah. I just think both of these guys need to sit back. Sit back. Watch a game and then go into the weekend series with a fresh mind. Let them clear their heads.
Yeah. I mean, Judge definitely needs a day off. There's something really wrong with him because it's that kind of situation
it's too
where
prolonged.
You know where the pitches are going, and you would think that he knows where the pitches are going, and he's just swinging at awful stuff that he normally doesn't swing at, and he's just looking really bad. And I just don't like the idea of the two of them taking the day off, even though they're both not doing anything. It feels like
Boone's done it before. Boone's punted a game before. He's punted a game they've needed before. I can't see him not doing it. Right. I don't think they will sit both of them. I'm just saying that if there's a chance to do it, I would do it in this game where you're not facing their ace, where your ace of the season so far is going. I think it's a decent opportunity to do it. But will they do it? I highly doubt it.
Yeah, I don't think they will. They'll save it for a different time. Well, no, knowing Boone, he's not going to sit either one of them. Yeah. He's just going to let them play through it because that's what they do.
Yep.
All right, one more time. Don't forget to join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. There's a link in the description and a 14-day free trial. Really? 14-day free trial. Good Lord. I can speak. I swear I can speak.
That was in 1990 Yankees read right there. It was in honor of the 1990 team.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. You get text from us. You can text us questions. And speaking of that, leave your questions under the pinned comment below to get your questions answered for Fan Mail Friday. It's the last day because it's Thursday. And if you join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club, you get top priority. But don't worry, YouTubers will still answer your questions. And remember, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll see you guys tomorrow for Fan Mail Friday.